You know, we find something fascinating about the topic of Hakaras Hatov. Adam Rishon did the first chet and he sinned. So immediately afterwards, the next avera that he did was the opposite of Hakaras Hatov. He says, "Isha asher asate imodi," and he was kofli tov. Rashi says he didn't recognize the good that a wife was. Isn't it fascinating that the first avera that he did after eating from the Eitz Hadas was he was lacking Hakaras Hatov for the gift of a wife that Hakadosh Baruch Hu gave him? The explanation is that a person came into this world fundamentally to be a giver. The neshama is called chayim, because the Maral speaks out that the word chayim is from the lashon of mayim chayim, to give forth, to give out. That's why in the Torah, a live well, a live spring is called mayim chayim, as opposed to a pond or a lake. Life itself means the ability to give. There are 4 people who are called dead, people who can't give. So essentially a person is a giver. When he receives, it's really a contradiction to his essence. The bridge that bridges over from the giver to the taker is the recognition that I received something. When I recognize I received something, so I'm taking note of the fact that I was really supposed to give, but I received, which is fine and legitimate, but I have Hakaras Hatov. I recognize the fact that my main job is really to give. So on the Rishon, after the first chet, he lost a little bit of his chiyos, of his neshama, and that articulated itself in some sort of level of kfiyas tova. And what it really learning from this is Hakaras Hatov means life itself. Hakaras Hatov means I really want to give. I'm happy to receive, but I'd rather give. And I recognize that my taking was not my natural state, because my natural state should be that of giving. We're allowed to receive, and it's good to receive, and we need to receive, but we should take note of it. Kol tov.
Imagine if for a minute you're speaking about the virtues of Rabbi Leib Steinman Zeichet Tzadik L'Bracha, and you say about him that he never once spoke on the phone before he made Havdalah. It seemed kind of strange among this giant among men to say something that doesn't seem to be particularly noteworthy. Every day, twice a day, we say a praise of Hashem, Micha Moicha Be'elam Hashem, which the Gemara darshans to mean Micha Moicha Be'ilm Hashem. And we're expressing there's nobody as quiet as you, Hashem. You're just so incredibly quiet. It seems kind of odd, among all the praise that we could say about Hashem, and there are many that we could say, we choose to say, Hashem, you're so quiet. Why is that something that we praise Hashem with? And I think that there's a point that we're making, and it's something that Klal Yisrael said when they were by the Shira. There's an appreciation that they had in their Haidah, and their expression of thanks, but also their admission. They said, you know, for 210 years we didn't know what was going on, but now everything's so clear, and they appreciated, wow, nobody's as quiet as you. There's so much that goes on that we don't appreciate. There's so much that goes on that we weren't aware of, and sometimes we never will be aware of in this life. But when we say Micha Moicha Be'elam Hashem, and we express to Hashem that we understand how quietly and silently you operate, we really should ingrain in ourselves just how much is going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. There's so much that Hashem is doing for us that we just don't understand and might never understand. But at least we appreciate that there's so much that He does for us, even if we can't be aware of it in this life. May we all merit to appreciate the kindnesses of Hashem and to see them every day.
In Sparks, we're talking about Hakaras Hatov. So the first thing that I want to say is thank you to Sparks, because this is an unbelievable opportunity to be able to get this message out there. So thank you. The message is like this. Yehudi, the word Jew, does not mean Jew. The word Yehudi means thank you. A Jewish person is called thank you. I am a thank you. You're a thank you. We are living in a world that we don't allow ourselves to identify with who Hashem tells us that we are. So when we talk about Hakaras Hatov, it's not like, oh, it's a nice thing. It's who we are. We are people of Hakaras Hatov. A Yehudi means a person who's thankful. That's what we need to start walking around with. Internalizing that, recognizing it, being able to tell people, yeah, who are you? I'm a thank you. I'm a Jew. No. Don't use the word Jew. It gets lost in translation. Say, I'm a thank you. And that's why in the morning, the first thing that we say that we're going to do, the first bracha that we make after Al Tasadayim, when we say Elokai Neshama, you know what we say? We say a mission statement. As long as there's a soul inside of me, I'm going to be thanking you, Hashem. So we start off our day like that. So just on a practical level, I think that it's, for myself and for everybody listening, if we can get that into ourselves. Number one, that's who I am. I'm a thankful person. I'm Yehudi. And number two, I start off my day committing myself to that. That's my mission statement. Take out your siddur and write that down. Highlight it. Kol zman sheneshama b'kirmi modeyani. As long as I have a soul, I'm going to be thanking you. So Hakaras Hatov needs to be understood in that way. This is my mission statement. It's not some extra, nice little thing. It's who I am.
Hello, my dear friends. Good Vach. I'm here with my very dear Talmud, Dovie Salzberg, who's helping me send this message to you. And I want to tell you about a very special person that I met. I was actually in Berdichev in Ukraine, and it's someone that really gave me a perspective on life. We were there, I was at Rabbi Yitzchak in Berdichev, I was by his kever, and we were davening, and in walks this young man, a young boy, he's around 23 years old, and his name is Levi Yitzchak. And he sings for us a song from Levi Yitzchak Berdichev, and our tour guide was there, his name is Akiva Bergman, he's the best tour guide. And Akiva tells me, this boy lives here in Berdichev, doesn't have a mother, doesn't have a father. He's a Shomer Torah mitzvah, spits on tefillin every day. And he was sitting there, and I was thinking to myself, he doesn't have a mother or a father, doesn't have much money. Somehow that's enough for him. Somehow that's enough. And he was singing, and you saw a certain serenity and a certain happiness that he had in his life. And sometimes we need to be able to put things in perspective in order to be able to appreciate everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us. And we have so much to appreciate. So much to be thankful for. And I want to tell you an idea about Rachel Imenu, who waited so long to have children. She waited so long for a child. And her first child she named Yosef. And one of the reasons she named him Yosef, Rashi says, is because she said, Osaf Hashem Esker, Pasi, that's the Pasi. Hashem gathered in my embarrassment. Because when I used to do something, let's say I break something in the house, so I had no one to blame it on. Like, who could I blame it on? Because it's just me. So my husband knew I did something, and it was embarrassing. Now at least I have someone to blame it on. Now I ask you, she's been waiting so long for a child. This is what she's been waiting for? This is what she thanks Hashem for? Now I got someone to blame it on? She doesn't thank Hashem for just the wonder of having a child to be able to hold, a child to hold her own. And I think that the answer is that, of course, that was obvious to her. She has, what to be thankful for of having a child. But there are certain things that we take for granted, that we don't thank Hashem for. And Rachel wanted to thank Hashem even for that. Even for the little thing. I think that, I want to thank Hashem. We all thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for big things, but what about the little things that we have to thank Hashem for? What about the amazing things that we sometimes take for granted? And when I met Levi Yitzchak, I realized that, we don't take anything for granted. We shouldn't. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us so many gifts, so many things, that we might seem as just obvious to us. But we should thank Hashem for those too. And I think part of the idea of the Leil HaSeder, when we speak about Dayenu, you know what Dayenu is? Dayenu is you say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you would have only done that for us, it would have been enough. If you would have only done this for us, it would have been enough. Because that would be enough. But you didn't. You gave us more. And I want to thank you for that, Hashem. I want to thank you for the more and the more. We have so much, really, we have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for. And you know something? There's a little bit more. Leah said, she named her son Yehuda. Apparently this Hashem. And Chazal says something interesting, that until Leah, no one ever thanked Hashem properly. What does that mean? Avram didn't thank Hashem. Avram, of course, thanked Hashem. That was Avram's whole technique when he did Kira, was to tell people, they give them food, they say, thank you, don't thank me, thank Hashem. So Avram said, we thank Hashem. What does it mean that until Leah, no one ever thanked Hashem? So I saw a beautiful shot. Leah was not necessarily Yaakov's first choice. Yaakov really wanted to marry Rachel, and Leah felt that. And when she gave the first son, Reuben, and she said, because Baruch Hu saw my anguish of the fact that my husband doesn't necessarily look at me, care for me, love me. Reuben, Shimon, Levi, all three of those children were all named for Hashem saw, Hashem heard my cry. Hapam Yilaveni Ishi, Levi is, this time at least my husband will spend more time with me because I got 3 kids. I can only hold one in each hand, so maybe he'll take the third while I get to spend more time with my husband. And she felt that, she a little bit was shortchanged when it came to her marriage. But when she had Yehuda, she realized, hold on a second, I have 4 kids, but there's only 40 mice. I got more than I'm supposed to have because there's only 12 shvatim. And she realized, you know why I got more? Because of my challenges. And she thanked Hashem even for her challenges. So we have so many good things to thank Hashem for. We also can thank Hashem for our challenges because they make us stronger and they make us better. So Hakaras Hatov, when we have to be thankful, we have to be thankful to our friends. We have to be thankful to our parents. And most of all, we have to be thankful to Hashem. And a person who lives a thankful life, so he feels blessed. So now is definitely the season for us to come into touch with all the things that we have to be grateful for. Because Rabbi should help, that we should be able to appreciate His gifts. And when we do, He'll shower us with more gifts. And there's Hashem, every one of us should be able to enjoy the beauty of being a Yid. Thanks for listening.
So, back in the beginning of Chumash, in Bereshis, on the 6th day, it says that although the trees and the herbage, vegetation, was created earlier on the 3rd day, but on the 6th day it says that it didn't sprout forth. It was created and only came underground to the surface of the earth, but it had not yet sprouted. Why not? The pasuk says because it had not yet rained. So what? 2 things. It had not yet rained and man was not yet created to work the soil. And Rashi, based on the Marid Chulin, Daf Samach, says that why did we need to have man at that time? Because he has to be the one to realize and recognize the kindness of rain and be able to show gratitude to Hashem for it. And once Adam came, Rashi says, he realized that there's a need for rain because things weren't sprouting. They were there, but they remained under the surface. He davened for them. So he realized 2 things. He realized that there's a necessity for them, and he davened for them. So in other words, the world could not have, the creation of the world could not have continued without someone realizing and thanking Hashem for it. That's the midah of Hakaras Hatov. There's an excellent book, an English sefer actually, on the subject of Hakaras Hatov. It's called Let There Be Rain, written by Rabbi Shimon Finkelman and Rabbi Zachariah Wallerstein. And actually, I gave the authors a haskama at that time. And being that my time is limited here, I will read to you a little of what I wrote in the haskama, and then recommend that all the readers go out and purchase this beautiful sefer. It says as follows: Dear friends, we all know the fundamental value of Hakaras Hatov, feeling and expressing our appreciation for what others have done for us. This all-important value is instilled from our earliest youth, when we are taught to praise our greatest benefactor. In other words, to thank Hashem throughout the day, beginning with Moda'ani in the morning for his having returned to us our souls, and concluding when we go to sleep at night, when we recite Hamapil for the fabulous gift of restorative sleep. And also we thank Hashem every moment in between when we breathe, because the Gemara learns out from the pasuk Kol HaNeshama Tahaloka. Every soul should praise Hashem. The word neshama has the word neshima in it, breath. So we thank Hashem al kol neshima uneshima tahaloka. Thank Hashem for every breath of air that we take, for the constant gift that Hashem bestows upon us.
On the topic of Hakaras Hatov, there's a pasuk, obviously, in Parshas Kisavoi, which is Bikurim, that will get a beautiful message when it comes to Hakaras Hatov. But before that, there are two parshas, right before Parshas Kisavoi, is Parshas Shoftim and Kiseitze. There's something very interesting. The end of Shoftim talks about that when someone that dies in the desert, we don't know who killed that person, it's called Egla Rufa. They have to bring down a calf to that valley, and the tzaddikim, the gedolim of that generation, come down with a calf. And what do they say? They say, "Va'anu va'amru yadeinu lo yishavchus adam." They answer and they say, "Anu." They answer and they say that our hands didn't do anything with this person. We didn't kill him, and please Hashem forgive us. And that's one of the things they do. They come down there and they kill the animal there. Another pasuk in Parshas Kiseitze, when a woman's husband dies without any children, she has to marry his brother. And if he doesn't want to marry his brother in the midst of Yibum, they do chalitza. What does the woman say to her brother-in-law? She says, "Va'ansa va'amra." She answers and she says, "Kochei asa le'ish." This we do to a man that does not want to build the house of the brother. Ansa va'amra. She answers and she says, it sounds repetitive, just like we saw by the Egla Rufa, Va'anu Va'amra also sounds repetitive. There's no Rashi on the either places. Let's go to Kisavai, where it talks about Parshas Bikurim, bringing the first fruits to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does the pasuk over there say? When you bring the first fruits to Yerushalayim, you bring it to the Kohen, and it says, Va'anisa va'amarta. You answer and you say, I'm bringing this to Hashem, and X, Y, and Z. Interestingly, here Rashi comments, why does the pasuk say Va'anisa va'amarta? He's repeating the same words. It's Va'anisa to answer and to say. Look at Rashi. Rashi is a beautiful lesson. Rashi says, Va'anisa loshen haramas koil. You have to raise your voice. Rashi is telling us something very specific. When it comes to Hakaras Hatov, saying thank you have to raise your voice. Rashi didn't tell us anything else in the last two parshas. In Egla Rufa, the double lashon of Va'anu Va'amru, because there is guaranteed the Gedolei Ador will going to say it with such a loud voice that we didn't do anything to this person, we didn't kill him. They're going to loudly say it very clearly. And when the woman wants to marry her brother-in-law and he doesn't want to, she'll say it so loudly. Rashi doesn't tell us that it means loudly. We know it means loudly because she'll say it with all her might and all her koiches. But when it comes to saying thank you, Rashi tells us, V'anisav Amarta, what's the double lashon over here? It's a ramas hakol, lifting your voice. Because when it comes to say thank you, it's something that's very difficult. Everything comes to me. I need everything. Everyone owes me everything. To say thank you is harder. Therefore, Rashi over here chose to tell us where we have to raise our voice to say thank you, to go the extra mile and say thank you, and makir to recognize that something is good for us.